I have been playing with a deck of cards this afternoon, and I've been practicing trying to guess the next card that comes off the top of the deck without looking. And I think I've gotten pretty good at this. So I'm going to guess the next 3 cards perfectly. Do you believe me? All right, let's give it a shot. Queen. No. 10. No. 4. No. 6. 9. Gosh, guys. Well, I think maybe I should learn some card tricks because guessing certainly wasn't good for me. It's a pretty good thing that I didn't promise you that I was going to guess the card correctly. Then I would have broken my promise. Do you know what a promise is? Well, a promise is when you say that you're going to do something and then you make sure that you do it. I tried to be very careful about making promises. How about you? You see, God never makes a promise that he doesn't keep. If God says something, we can trust that what he said is the truth. And we can always trust God because he always keeps his promises. So let's try another thing. If I tell you I am going to blow on this dandelion and that I promise that the dandelion seeds are going to fly through the air like hundreds of tiny propellers, do you think I could keep that promise? Let's see. Wow, yeah. That was pretty easy to believe, right? Because we know that God designed each dandelion with those teeny tiny seeds, and each of those teeny tiny seeds have like 100 of those fine bristles, which turns out to be an excellent mode of transportation for those seeds, because we see dandelions everywhere, right? And we've also seen how easy it is to blow those seeds away. And you would think with how easy it is to blow dandelion seeds, that dandelions would be very delicate. And they certainly couldn't survive being dunked into a glass of water, right? What if I said, I promise that this dandelion will go completely underwater and come out dry? Do you think I can keep that promise and keep this dandelion dry? No, right? No, because water makes things wet. This does not sound like a promise that I can keep, does it? Well, the Bible is full of promises that God has made. In fact, the Old Testament alone is filled with over 300 promises. That's a lot of promises. Really, only God can keep up with all of those promises, because for me to keep 300 promises, that would seem impossible. Impossible like this dandelion staying dry underwater. So let's give it a shot, guys. Here we go. Look at that. It's dry. It's dry. It seemed impossible. Just like it might seem impossible for God to keep all of his promises, God does. God always keeps his promises. Listen to this promise in Isaiah 41:10. God says, "Fear not, for I am with you. I will strengthen you, I will help you, and I will uphold you with my right hand." Wow, that is a mighty and a comforting promise that God's made to us. And remember, God always keeps his promises. And speaking of promises, today our church is making a promise to our families. Today at Spring Hill, we are having a special service called the Family and Child Dedication Service. And that's where families make a promise to raise their children to follow Jesus. And our church makes a promise, like in Isaiah 41:10, to be there for families and to encourage them as parents and to help both parents and kids, and to always point their family to Jesus. It's a pretty big promise, isn't it? And we can keep this promise with God's help. So here's your challenge this week. It's all about promises. Read God's promise in Isaiah 41:10. I mean, it is a great verse to hide in your heart to help you remember how much God loves you. He promises you that. And the second challenge this week, go pick some dandelions and give this water experiment a try. And let it remind you of how much God loves you.